So I'm building this opening range breakout strategy, or just a breakout strategy. When we were kids, they called it an opening range breakout because you didn't have a 24-hour market, and there was no reason why they call it open range breakouts because the market was closed overnight. And when the market opened, and there was supposedly a way to trade that breakout, and you would, God knows how you would pick your stops and targets on that. But I think if your ratios were good, that if you didn't overtrade it, you were doing good. Now, when you see a false breakout, now breakout, right there, it's a very simple plan, and I would say that for the I'm going to run a demo, and I'm building scripts right now this weekend for the demo. I'm going to start running a breakout, and I have to name these demos about what strategy is going on inside there, because if I was just to start trading at the market and just be like, okay, I could just have a gut feeling this is a good trade, and I'm like, this thing's gonna go break out the range, right? I want to get me for the breakout. Now, if I buy 0.001% at the market before the breakout, and then I have a buy stop above or below the breakouts to get in the direction of my initial thing, which would be my market order. So if I scale into this thing, and if I get in across, well, I'm aware of the fact that we are developing a range that's smaller than normal, and so getting the right stops on these trades is going to be the big deal and the right take profits. But I don't think you could do it without trading multiple tickets. I'm just going to say that you can't own a business and have one store. Okay, if you have a chain of stores, some stores are getting their ass kicked because they're in the ghetto and they're burning it down, right? And in the other stores in the high-end part of town, and it's making all the money to pay for the losers. So you are going to get stopped out. Now here is a guy on, I don't know where Investopedia got. I guess everything's a pedia now. Wikipedia, Bang Mepedia. It's like everything's a pedia. So you have to keep up with the latest memes, otherwise forget it. Now here is a classic. This guy is he's the guy that's going to publish this article, 3 reasons why breakout strategies doesn't work. But look at this guy's background. He's from the religion of technical analysis. So I'd like to think of myself as a market atheist, and I'm willing to trade anything if it makes money, any strategy. So maybe you have traded a breakout strategy and you put a buy stop above the last known thing, and you put a protection below the last known bar, and you keep getting chopped, and you're like, this doesn't work. Now here's a guy that if you look at his background, Corey Mitchell, and I don't know how he gets how do you get to the level where you're able to post something on here? This is why I'm doing YouTube, because there's no voice for logic. And I can't believe that it's only the politicians that have their head up their ass. And all these, that's the way we've always done it, people. I just want to punch them. So tradition's not my friend. So I'm an anti-tradition person, and just not, you just have to get over that. You have to, if you don't reinvent your day, your trading, and now you do have your go-to trades, right, that pay the rent. You know how the market typically works. And if you're really getting killed, then I've got a whole cure for that. So I'm going to try to, I guess I'm going to have to put a link to other videos that describe the other video. So there, for this one, I'm just going to say breakout strategy. Very simple, clean. I've got the script ready to go, and I'll post the script in here. You can build on top of the script. You can change the stops, but everything here is built on the simple fact that the market cannot, the simple truth, the market cannot trade sideways forever. How long is it going to sit, and how many pip ranges are going to sit? Are they going to trap people in the initial breakout? Probably. Now, I'm presupposing that you're going to trade more than one position. Now, this guy's presupposing you're trading one ticket and you're betting a lot, which is very bizarre that he's taken that element, he stripped it away from this. So look at this background. He is the proprietary trader and he's a chartered market technician. He's a CMT. Now, God knows if this is like Skull and Bones or something. Could be, right? Specializing in short to medium term strategies. Now, this is completely subjective. For one guy, short term, maybe 5 minutes, 5 milliseconds, 5 days. In his technical strategies, he's the founder of, now, this guy is so busy being a Hollywood, and his picture is so small here, you know, really good looking. He should be a model, and maybe not a guy to help people. And the thing is that people go to the internet and they go, well, it says it says Investopedia says, oh, okay. But have you ever actually tried it, and do you have the risk ratios to make it work? And I'm gonna prove it works by running the demo with various targets, but pretty much the same stop. If I pick a 15 pip stop to make 20, it would be 15 pip stop to make 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, all the way to, now you're not going to be able to take advantages of crush downs where the market moves 700 pips unless you've got that script to launch. And I'm also recommending that you trade on this keyboard. It costs $50. Okay, now you can trade on this keyboard, is the way to go. $50 for this keyboard. You assign this to, you assign all these keys, and your trade plans are sitting here. Now, if this is going to be a buy stop and this is going to be a sell stop, buy stop, sell stop, you can place all of these and have them ready to go. This is nothing but a breakout strategy. Now, these are bigger take profits here, and maybe you have a 20 pip stop on this one, and this starts at 10, and maybe here's your scalp trades. As the market trades sideways like this and breaks out, now I'm going to debunk everything this guy says just by the fact that, of course, you're going to need this keyboard because you're going to need to trade this stuff. All these people that sit there with their Gartleys and never talk about where they're going to get out here. Now, here is when the market comes out. And another thing is that maybe this lasts for 15 minutes. This is a 30-minute. This is 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour, 4 hour, 6 hour, 8 hour, and 12-hour buy stops. Go to sleep. The sessions, like, depending, now you have to, you're a slave to the time frames that the market has spelled out for you. There is no, oh, well, I'm gonna you know, I'm my own boss. And no, you're not your own boss. Okay, if you're gonna trade breakout strategy, you need to be there for you need to be placing orders before the breakout. And you have to be aware of your window, that you wrote the trade plan up front with a 15 pip stop. You've chosen that. Now you got to find a market to trade it in. You're not going to be able to trade that in the guppy because you're going to need a 30 pip stop in the guppy to trade a breakout to make 100 pips. And if you stay on one instrument, so if you built this around, you know, if you've never traded before, you would just take the euro dollar and you would find say the euro dollar, even on the worst broker in the world, is going to give you a spread of 2, a fixed pip spread of 2 to 3 pips. Well, that's your commissions. And you're going to take this keyboard, very easy to program. Cherry, it's been around forever. When you go to the store, trading's a business. This is how you got to have execution. Can't be like, oh, I'm going to look for, too late. All your playbook has to be designed up front. Now, go to the let's go to the this guy bashing breakout trading. So he is, not only is he the founder of VantagePointTrading.com, a website dedicated to trader education and market analysis. I can't wait to see that. Let me see if I can take a look inside his 4 common trading questions from new traders answered. I mean, this would blow your mind. Traditional stuff. It's all traditional. Is Forex trading investor strategy, 30-year track record. Okay, they're trying to sell me something. 30-year track record. Can I get these returns? And these guys are geniuses, right? So obviously, just get this guy's. Just put your money with this guy. Did he cherry pick his best performing account? I mean, it's so ridiculous. You just have to imagine this cannot be proper logic. So maybe I'm wrong. Anybody could find it here where he describes the other aspect of trading, which he never mentions frequency or size. So serial killers even know this, right? If you kill more than so many people, you're a serial killer. It's not enough to be a killer, so it's not enough to be ridiculous. After graduating with a business degree, so you know, I didn't get a business degree, and because I just couldn't stay awake for all the boringness. But I've thought about trading quite a bit, and I thought about, you know, there's really only two. The order that you place, whether it's a limit or a stop, right there is telling you what strategy would go with that order. So it's everything's hinged upon everything else in a way that changes the landscape of everything. So you can't just say in a blanket terms breakout strategy doesn't work. So after he has been trading multiple markets and educating traders since 2005. So he's left a whole landscape of his traditional view of it. He is widely published and is a member of the Canadian Society of Technical Analysts. Holy God. Now, I don't know if this speaks to people that are members of, you know, stuff that really. So he's got to keep the religious view of market technicians. And he's also, and the Market Technicians Association. So he's in deep into the, everybody's assumes the same assumptions. I'd have to say, right? It's a, if I showed up at this technical, people would say, "Get out of here! What are you talking?" I don't know what would happen. I'd love to show up at one of these things. I used to go to these things, and people would have their, but I didn't have the, at that time I hadn't traded. Of course, now with Forex, you can kind of, I mean, who could trade a real-time demo? Like, you can test out all your stuff, and if you're only playing back the market strategy tester and asking yourself, is this a tight enough place to put a buy stop? That's the question. And how do you design your scripts to fit the breakout? If it's a 2-hour breakout, I'm speaking of a 1-hour chart, it works. So he is the author of he's also the author of Forex Strategies Guide for Day Trading and Swing Traders, an ebook introducing traders to the basics of Forex, the formula for success, price action trading. I couldn't wait to see that. I'm going to tell you, you could go search this stuff out. People are not telling you how to trade. So let's go back to his 3 reasons not to trade breakouts. Now this is pretty hysterical, I think, if you've ever traded before in your life. But look at he's coming from a position like, where are you coming from, man? Where this guy's coming from? He's denying other elements that would make money for you that are critical to every trade plan. So, and he just goes on and on. It's ridiculous. Often one of the first trading scenarios and potential trade setups that a trader is introduced to is the range breakout. This is possibly because range is easy to spot. Okay, so that's a problem right there, because the complexity worship that comes in on top of stuff blow your mind, right? It's not the method. It is not, if you, this Chris Laurie is going to tell you, it's not the method. If your edge is range breakouts, you got to know that that's just, it's easy to spot. There's no harmonic, there's no magic, there is no, well, you just don't know how to trade a cipher. You're just not intellectual enough. You don't understand the Fibonacci ratios of the birds in the front yard. So this is all just brutal for anybody that's just trying to make some money. Just trying to make some money in the market on stuff you know is so high probability. And I know we've walked away. I don't see anybody. I'm going to go look later on YouTube for a search for breakout trading. And people say good way to lose money. It's how you do it, right? And when the price moves out, so easy to spot, and knowing when to enter is relatively easy. Now right here, I'd have to say that relatively easy knowing when to enter. Well, it's not when. Because if you're trading breakouts with stops, now at this point there is no mention of whether it's a limit or of course we have to assume breakout traders are trading on stops because it's confirmation of the entry is the signal, is the confirmation, all wrapped up in one neat tidy package. How can't people get their brain around this? Start there and go trade. Get a buy stop and a sell stop. Start looking for places to put these orders in. Now you either hand placing this stuff or you're hitting a hotkey. Like I said, you get a G86. Get your G86 running. Press these fucking buttons. Stop it with the Gartleys. You're never going to make money unless you pull the trigger. This is your ray gun. These things are 40 bucks, new and used, all day long on eBay, 50 bucks tops. It's just, the thing weighs like, I don't know, the thing weighs like 5 pounds. It's a real keyboard. Now these plastic baby things. Plus you can type angry letters on it and stuff. So, he's setting you up for this, debunking this 3 reasons not to trade it. But he's kind of filtered this down to neglecting to say critical things like where's your stop? If your stop's wide enough, you can survive the fake out breakout, right? One may be the belief. It should be one may be of the belief. This guy's got typos in here. You know, if you're going to claim you're like an author, could you get that right? That can provide extraordinary returns as a tradable is launched out of its holding pattern. What is a tradable? Because a trade is launched out of its holding pattern. So you're in a flag, right? You're in this thing. Regardless of the reason, range trading breakouts is an, this guy, is this grammar? Are there grammar issues here, or did I misclass myself? Regardless of the reason, trading range breakouts is or are an unprofitable endeavor for most novice traders. So I guess you got to be an expert. And the novice trader, I just don't know why it's not profitable. In this article, I'll explain the 3 reasons why 2 alternative strategies will also be looked at for background reading, technical nails to tutorial. Now, I mean, he never gets to that, but let's just examine his reasons. These are 3 reasons why false breakouts don't work. Of course, you can repeat the reasons over and over. So first reason is that by the very nature of range is likely to have multiple false breakouts. Okay, wait. Now wait a second. What do you call a false breakout? But it's so funny because later on here, a false breakout is when price moves beyond the previous established range but then retreats back within the previous range. Since it is contained battle between the buyers and sellers, both pushing in opposite directions, these false breakouts can often occur because support resistance are not 100% accurate. While filters can be added to reduce the number of false breakouts that are traded, these losing trades cut into the profits which are made by trading these losing trades cut into profits which are made by trading legitimate breakout. Oh, so you made money on legitimate breakouts, but your fake breakouts you didn't. Now, this is the oldest question in the world when it comes to trading. How do you know it's a real breakout? Who cares? If your stop's wide enough, your ratios are set in, it works. Now, the problem is people say, well, if that's true, then let me set up an EA to get in on breakouts. Well, unless your EA can judge which script, which trade to launch based on that thing, and is it going to trade long only? Is it going to bracket it and go binary and trade out? I don't care which way it breaks out, I'm going to go with it. Is it going to have are you just going to run on the euro dollar? It probably would work. Are you going to launch this breakout bot when the market has a true range of the last bar at 50 pips and your script has a 10 pip stop? Probably not. It's so dependent on your stop and your take profit. Now, I think that's obvious because when you read this crap on the internet and you're like, okay, well, there you go. See, that doesn't work. And people just throw the towel in. And now what if your breakout systems are making money and then you're waiting for these stupid ass setups on these Gartleys? You have to make money. You know, if trading's a business and you're making money from selling Red Bull to crackheads, stock Red Bull. You know, stock this placebo, whatever the fuck. I mean, come on, just have a cup of coffee for God's sakes, right? So support and resistance are not 100% accurate. Oh, but they are, right? Well, they're 100% accurate because they fail when the real breakout happens. So legitimate breakouts. For more, enter profitable territory with true range. So what he's saying is he's going to put a filter on here. He's going for legitimate breakouts. But it's all time frame dependent. Obviously, right? Breakouts on the 1 minute chart, maybe not such a good idea. Now limit your breakouts to the 1 hour chart. You're looking for a 10 pip range, a 15 or under pip bar. When you see a bar that's 8 pips, you're going to press a button that's going to trade heavier on that. You're taking advantage of the range of ranges. Maybe the biggest range, your legitimate breakouts maybe happen for this guy after a 100 pip breakout. Like, holy fuck, look at it go, right? While false breakouts cut into profits on legitimate breakouts, he repeats, a further problem often arises. The following scenario is typical. A trader is elated to see paper profits mount as price moves out of the range, and they are certain it is a legitimate breakout only to see the price break back into their entry. Now what the fuck is that? You're not getting out? You're not getting out of some of this shit? Maybe you traded the breakout to a... Dude, the market's in a 20 pip range and it breaks out and makes a 40 pip move. You're out. You just doubled your money. What the fuck you want? Or it goes to 60 pips. You doubled your money or tripled your money. You're setting that up front. He's presupposing you don't have a trade plan for a breakout. Well, the false breakouts. The following scenario is typical. Yeah. Well, God, this guy is just cherry picking logic out of the air. What the fuck? Are you just going to take that out of the equation? I mean, yeah, driving at 60 miles an hour doesn't work. Where were you driving, sir? Well, I was driving through. I was driving through a parking lot. Oh well, yeah. No, driving 60 miles an hour does work. You just can't drive through the strip mall at 60 miles an hour. You can't just take something and say it doesn't work without all the other sort of things around it. And this he's went to school. Price corrects, moving back to the range breakout point. The trader watches in frustration, having gotten out. What the fuck? Why are you watching in frustration? Because you didn't have a trade plan. You're like, oh God, look at this. He's gotten out of the trade in the correction, only to see that, in fact, the breakout, in fact, it was a good breakout, right? He's gotten out of the correction, only to see that it was, in fact, a breakout. So he's freaking out psychologically. It is a real breakout. According to Charles Kirkpatrick and Julie R. Dickinson, what about according to me? Damn it. Technical sales, the complete resource to roughly half the breakouts that occur from ranges retrace back to the breakout point before continuing the original direction. Combine this with the high rate of false breakouts, and most novice traders lose money on the gyrations that end up missing the big move when it occurs. What the fuck is this? They keep breakouts. So what the fuck? If your stop's wide enough, it's a breakout. I don't get this. There's risk management problems here. Are you going to eliminate? You're really going to trade without taking into account risk? Now look at this bullshit. Explosions are rare. Well, he doesn't trade Forex. The big move often brings up the next problem. Large moves are rare. Given the number of potential ranges to trade, like picking a winning ticket out of a drum, potentially hundreds of participants, now he's going to go into the gambling thing and make it so like it will never work. Glum from Oliver's Travels. It'll never work. I just know it. What bullshit. Breaking out and making a large percentage sprint is not always the case, with potential hundreds of range being, I mean, what does he think? You're going to get in a breakout and ride it for the next 40 years? You got to have a target. You're trading. You're buying and then you're selling. You're not going short. In other words, you buy and then you got to get out. When you get out, you're selling out of your buy. And when you sell, you're buying back your sell. How the fuck is he doing this? Why are people believing this stuff? Again, we found it's just rare. Given the other two problems with ranges, the trader is often not even in the trade when that move finally does occur. Well, what the fuck is that? Why not? He had to stop too tight. This is what? Why in the hell? See, this is why you can have trade empowered, because you can never get down to the fact of, okay, like, can you do this anywhere else in your life? You buy a car. You might say, well, what's the mileage? Oh, don't worry about that. You got a car. Mileage happens to be 1 mile per gallon. This is a problem. Why isn't anybody talking about the mileage on the car? Oh, look at this car. It does this and that. We'll get around to that. But mileage is money when you're trading. Now, given the fact that people don't have a trade plan, don't have a stop that fits market conditions. If you had 1,000 pip stop in the British pound, you're still long. If you bought before it plunged, right? And that's not even a breakout trade. That's just saying I can survive that amount of punishment, and I don't care. The traditional technical analysis methods use a profit target that is equal to the height of the range, support and resistance, added to or subtracted from the breakout price. This profit target is a reasonable for many range breakouts. Really? So this is obviously this is it. you need a target. To say there's 3 reasons. Alternatives. Most traders, false breakouts result. So he's saying here, now here's where the complexity comes in. Here's where people get all gartlyized. And now I'm speaking in terms of breaking out on the 1 hour chart. Now I wouldn't trade a breakout on the daily unless I had a 500 pip stop or a 300 pip stop in there. And if you didn't want to babysit the 1 hour chart or even the 4 hour chart for a breakout that's legitimate. And so he's saying here, well, you can pull back. Now here's where people break out fib tools and they just totally go off the rails. Now, if you've got a weekly chart and you're like, look at this thing pull back, we're waiting for, now you're placing limits, right? Now you're not placing, he's going to go into limit order trading now, right? Because you're not going to, if you're waiting for the pullback, are you going to put a buy stop in now? Breakouts don't work. If it comes back and you have 5 bars pull back and they're lower highs, and you keep putting a trailing buy stop in there to get picked up on the trend, oh, all of a sudden breakout trading works, and it broke out of a range in some magnitude somewhere. So this is the kind of ridiculousness that goes on, and these people are, I'm going to tell you, there's so many prepositions. People have so much shit. They're like, well, assuming that, oh, you didn't trade like this, right? Well, no. Why would you trade like that? Why would you open up one store and go, I'm going to be like the best store? People are not going to fly from around the planet to your fucking store. You need to put out, and now you can post stuff on the internet. You can have little baby, you can have a website, central. You can have a central store now. But it's about diversification. It's about spreading out all your risk and stuff, and not trading just one. Now, I also have a limit order that I'm going to set up. So I'm going to have a limit entry swing trade thing, and I've been writing grids for that are just linear grids. And then I'm going to have the breakout system. So one demo will be a breakout strategy, and the other one's going to be limits to FX Junction, and I have a FX Blue account. So the FX Blue, I'm going to make that a breakout system. Well, the spreads are kind of, I'm going to have to trade the euro on that because the spreads suck on that broker. So, but it doesn't matter, because this whole thing about, well, look at how many pips this thing moved. Well, dude, come on. If you're in 5 standard lots on that with a 300 pip stop, okay, well then apparently you have so much money and you're looking to make so much more money. You should probably not, I don't know. I can't imagine you're going to Stapleton's or anything on the internet to learn how to trade. You're like, whatever. Or maybe you are. Maybe you have so much money that you're like, well, but I'm always looking to learn stuff, and so why do I go and watch other people's videos to find the flaw? Like, it's like playing chess, right? You want to see the chess game. Well, where'd you fuck up? So what is the bad move you made in the chess game? And all that kind of stuff. So I'm just curious as the day is long. But, you know, Investorpedia, this came up. I just put in breakout trading, and this came up. And this guy is from the acclaimed schools of acclaimment. So pullback, breakout, and then here's where you get in roughly 50%. But this is when you start to go into fibs. Well, let's fine tune that. Let's get really drilled down. Trend trading or range trading. Well, you're going to trade a breakout on your trend. Both methods reduce the chance that the trader will be stuck in a false breakout. Now, if you're stuck in a false breakout, what is he talking about? He's talking about psychology, the feeling of being stuck in a trade. Well, if you've got your stop in there, and you are upset because they haven't stopped you out and taken off the pressure of success, or they have stopped you out and you're like, damn it, should I get back in? So, but you're not stuck then. See, you're unstuck. If you have a stop in the market, let the market unstick you. You're not stuck because if you decided to start trading in the first place. So once the breakout has occurred and has made the first move, it's easier to step, and at that point, then it is to jump right in after the level that many other traders are watching. Patience will lie to tradable. Now he's speaking of a one ticket position, obviously, because if you didn't scalp that first pop out of the gate, then you just you're crazy. So if you didn't at least take pictures of the date you went on with the girl, right? So if you didn't, some kind of, you have to take something out of the relationship. Look at that. We were at this bar. We were at this restaurant. People posting pictures of their food on Facebook, for God's sakes. People are trying to take as much as they can out of every event in their life. So you have to scalp something out of it. Can't just be this all, just like this is it. Oh, I designed this aircraft and it's ranges are easy to spot. So summary here. Now this is the thing. Ranges are easy to spot. What is wrong with that? Making a range breakout strategy very popular. Many traders lose, yet many traders lose in this strategy. Now you got to ask why that is. Is it because it's too popular? Is this why we're trading Gartley's? Because it's so sophisticated. It's so not mainstream. It's so artful. Strategies like to provide traders so many because of false breakouts. Well, listen, if your stop's wide enough, you're not having a problem. Corrections to the breakout point and unrealistic expectations. So, but why would it matter? Only if you moved your stops to break even would this fucking be a problem. If you let your original stop go, and I guess this is the discipline part of trading, is build something and drive it first before you blow that up and go, okay, let's fine tune that maybe. But you don't have to change the method. Strategies are likely to provide traders with more success than being strategies that are likely to provide traders with more success involve being patient and waiting. Now, but what does that have to do for the breakout to happen? So for the breakout to happen, then trading the trend, if it occurs, or waiting for a correction. So you're waiting for the breakout to happen, and then you're going to get it. So now you're really fucked, because now you got to put in a limit just below, or you put a limit at that breakout. But I'm speaking in terms of this system I'm going to build is stop only. You cannot place a limit. And so it's designed to just do that, and it works. I'm telling you, in Asian session breakouts, it works. When trading the trend, if occurs waiting for the correction, and then the price resumes in the direction. So obviously breakout, pull back, then continue. But what is the time frame of that breakout? Do you break out 1 hour, breakout 4 hours sideways, you break out of range, pulls back, maybe goes off to races, maybe it never looks back. They're explosive moves. Are designed to be explosive moves. So, all right. So I try to punish this guy as much as possible on the misconceptions, and just because he's from the Society of Trading Experts and Sophisticates, I think it's pointless. It's worthless. So here's my I set up this system here, 10 pip grid, and I have this iSessions indicator I'm running. And what I did was I just basically made the very last session here after London's closed, and there's kind of the dead session. Now I set this up to, it says 0 here, but it really, 0 there is actually 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you look at here the sessions, here's a better one. This is the time chart. This is the GMT on top, and when daylight savings time comes, this stuff is all going to shift over. So this is the at Sydney session here is when Of course, this is right about here, I think, is when it starts. So about 23, right around here is when the market's dead and Asian opens, and then I put a 10-hour in here. So starting here, I'm counting 10 hours from here, and then we just have the gray section, the blue section, which is when stuff really comes unwrapped. Here you got London all the way to New York, and then so I just made kind of the end of, because the overlap here, there's a lot of movement in this 4-hour area. So the London breakout, and so let me see if I find this on a chart. Now you can set these to whatever you want it to quarter off, and as you start to box this off, you'll see on the chart the different the way the sessions come across in here. Now if you're going to trade a breakout of the session, that's a different kind of breakout. I'm speaking of a 1-hour breakout. So if we go to the 1-hour chart, and the session, if you do MT4 sessions, you'll find it out there. Now this is a 10 pip grid. So I'm just using the sessions as like maybe when you would want to pay attention to the market, or you could just take the sessions out of here. I just put them in there so I can tell that the blue session is when things really, the wheels come off and the breakouts are more viable. And this is just the New Zealand 1-hour chart. Nothing special here. I'm going to mark, let me see if this works. This would be your trade plan. Try to zoom in and just think like a robot and think like range. So you're looking for your 1-hour bar to be a certain size. I'm really getting a bad zoom in here. So if you restrict your trading to, say, here, now this is a 10 pip grid, so you're looking for a 10 to 15 pip bar, but you can't be too oh, it's got to be exact and stuff like that. So where did you get trapped on the breakout system they're talking about? Now if your buy stops are here and you also have sell stops running, it's kind of a wash. If you come in here with buy stops on this and this, you make money. So you are going to get stopped out. Hopefully you're not betting the ranch. Are you going to trade the continuation of this? If you force yourself, if you make a disciplined, make a decision to trade stop entry, I'm not going to be able to zoom in on that. So let's just mark this off and find out that trap trade, what he says is a bad move. Now we're using a 10 to 15 pip stop, say, but once we're out of that trade, we're out. We're not going to move any trailing stops on this. And when you come to the so this is the Asian session, and then we have this is just New Zealand dollar. Here is the United States and London are open. Now if you're going to trade this, look at the chart, you're going to say, okay, I see a sell stop here and a sell stop here and a buy stop here and a buy stop here, because you have a small range. So your targets need to be double your money. So you made money here. Now you put in the buy stops, sell stop, no fill, no fill, no fill, buy stops, fill, really small bar here, and you maybe put on a bigger, you press a bigger button on your keyboard. But you have to predefine this all up front. Predefine risk. It's all about predefined risk. Sell stops stacking up. But not if you're filtering by range. You're long here. Under 10 pips maybe is your filter. Under 10 pip bars. I wish I could just have it show all the under 10 pip bars. Here, sell stops are stacking up. Now, if you press a button on your keyboard to launch an order that lasts an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, and maybe when you see this, you're like, you know what? And you got buy stops stacking up here that never fill. Right on top of there. Maybe you're going to put your buy stop a little bit away from the market, or you're going to hand place them. Did you make money on this trade? Can I get a show of hands? Now, I'm not saying that you couldn't have buy limits here, but that would be for the limit account if you're going to keep it separated so you can test the breakout strategy in real time moving into next week. So I'll be trading that on the euro only on this thing because I have tight things, and I would just keep on dialing and fine-tuning it. Now the question is, do you hit the buy stop trigger and the sell stop trigger? And if you hit both triggers here, you would not got filled on the sell stops. You're letting the market prove you right. This is an old trick. Here you're up 10 pips, now you're up 20, now you're up 30 pips. You're risking 5, 8, 10. Did you make money? Yes. Is there any trades? And when it moves like this, there are no trades. When the ATR comes unwrapped here, now maybe you got trapped on a sell stop here, but you're still long a majority of tickets. It's not an all or nothing gig. Here's too big of a bar to put in a sell stop, and I have no bias on this. It's pure range. This is the only thing an EA would see, a robot would see if you programmed it. He would just see range. You tell him when you see this, put in buy stops, sell stops. When you see really small range, put even tighter stops with a ratio of explosion out of that. Here, buy stop, trap, bad trade, narrow range. How's this trade working out for you? Now you can be aware of this fact that if once they take this out, let it go. And this would be why you would have to have risk 10 pips to make maybe 70 pips. And this is when you come back to your trade plan, hotkey execution, able to leap tall buildings in a single bound. You have to be ready to go on that. So you have your go-to orders. They're going to give you this entry. Now here you go to the actual script. So if you're going to have a buy stop here, oh geez, let me go. I wrote a script for that called buy stop. So now picture, if you will, this is a 1 hour buy stop. So this is where you put it all together. I'm going to post this buy stop here. You can build off of this. Right now this is set to a 10K. So I'll set this to a 1K. Compile it. It doesn't get any simpler than this. It literally takes up, this is all the code you need. I'm even going to delete this crap out of here. This is completely not needed. You can put comments up there, but it's not necessary. I think I need that start on there. So we need this here. So this is it. This is it. Now you can make this sell stop, and you got to invert this. This should be bid, and this should be ask on the way out. This is going to risk essentially 15 pips. I'm going to overpay by 5 pips. This is why breakout trading doesn't work. So I'm going to risk this to make, I'm going to risk 15 to make 35. I'm making this more because I'm paying 3 pips, so I have to make this more plus the spread. So you have to make this quite a big exit here. Now I could have another hotkey set to a 8 pip stop to make 20 pips. Same stop entry here. Time frame changes. Now this is all part of the fact of really making money on breakout trading. Now you're going to have to go to your keyboard, because the way you're going to get it, well, I'm just saying for me, it has to be a keyboard, because if I had, you can have a list there, but the time you fumble around for your mouse to get to the ticket, to open it, forget it. You want to be able to trade with a carefree state of mind, knowing all your risk up front, and you're going to know this stuff. You just know it going in, right? It should just not be, there shouldn't be any doubt of what you're doing. So what is the bad trades? Now maybe you don't trade this session, and maybe you don't. This is there's only one buy stop here. Didn't make any money. And you, maybe here's you waiting for a 10 pip bar. If you went short, if you had sell stop stacking up here, and this is 4 hours in the dead session, as you come into the close here and then you come into the dead session of Asia, you are already up in this trade. Maybe you made enough money here that you take this shitty entry and they stop you out, right? Here is a buy stop, sell stop scenario, small range, and I guess they trapped you here and then they raped you, but you get in again with the sell stop and you made money. This, you are going to get stopped out at even a bat wing. But this is high frequency trading. Besides, think about the time decay. If the order lasts for 2 hours here, and the longer we go sideways, the better the trade. So maybe you're waiting for your filters. I need 3 hours in a 15 pip range. I can make this a 4-hour chart, but I think you can count the bars. There's no need to get all complicated. Here are premium sell stop, buy stop. Good trade. Here's an explosive move. Huge breakout. Look at this. Never looked back, and it crushed all the way back up into this. Obviously it works. Go to any currency pair. Dollar CAD. I have the template here. So you have to write the template, and here is the 1 hour chart with the sessions. Now if you trade this across multiple pairs, right now I'm just going to trade on the euro, so I can really take all the margin and put it on there. But how does it work on this now? The spread's pretty tight here. 10 pip range, breakout, another signal to put a buy stop or a sell stop. If you didn't care which way it's going, you should be out of a lot of your trades by here. And maybe you did have some, oh, I'm going to get out profits here. But after 10 hours in Asia, like, so we had the breakout here, and you just get the hell out, right? Now, obviously, you could add a limit here for this entry here, but I'm not speaking of that entry. It's just breakout only, right? So maybe you had your, maybe you did get a little trapped here, but counter trend traded it because obviously it's going up. And every hour that goes by, there's a chance to make money. It's 24 opportunities per day on a breakout strategy. You know that going in. Looking for small bars. No trades really in here. This whole thing, except for maybe this little bar, everything's taken off. Right? Maybe you're bullish. Buy stops. Here's a Asian trap. And this is what people are talking about. Well, I'm getting chopped here. Where's the real breakout? Where is the real breakout in here? Is this it? Holy God, look at this, the ATR on that session. Buy stops are here, stacking up. 3 hours in a 10 pip range. And whether you traded this on buy stops and sell stops here, let's see if I can zoom into this. You just can't zoom in enough of this to just see how mechanical trading has got to be in some aspect, because waiting for this Gartley to complete here, and you're going to tell me you've got an order sitting in here with the perfect thing to get it back all the way back to here, forget about it. You can blow your brains out. So the Asian breakout, now I don't know what happened in this bar. Maybe they trapped you here and they raped you to the top side. And that's why you would make it all back here. And maybe you traded, but maybe you don't trade this session. And maybe you could change your session bars. Like, you can make this session anything you want. You can make this so you only pay attention to the boxes. You only trade inside these boxes, the breakout inside these boxes, based on the sessions that you don't get near. Or you just get rid of the sessions altogether and just go with the fucking market. So 3 hours of sideways breakout, damn good trade. If you move your stops to break in trade, this is what he said in the thing, move your, then you get trounced. Don't move your stops to break in. Let the plan your trade your plan, let it go. And maybe you're getting ready to put sell stops in here. Maybe you are going to risk more than 10 pips, but I'd say breakouts work when you're in a 10 pip on this. If you wrote the script to a 10 pip range, now certainly you could have written scripts to a wider range, but I think at that point, aren't you going to move to the 4-hour chart? And is this a legitimate break? Like on the 4-hour chart, people would say, well, breakout trading doesn't work because I traded this breakout and they came back here, or I traded this. You can make it so it doesn't work, right? Oh, try 60 miles an hour in parking lots don't work. See, driving 60 doesn't work. So you traded this breakout and they trounced you. They're like, see, it doesn't work. Well, this isn't even a 10 pip bar here, but even if it was, okay. But and there's no place to really get long this thing. And maybe you traded the sell side of that. So don't forget that if you had buy stops and sell stops in there, and one leg gets blown out, and some of your buy stops are sitting here for this, the legitimate breakout, which it fills this, and if your stop's here, you're like, woohoo, but look what your ratio is. 50%? What's the ratio here when you get in a 10 pip stop and ride that for 40 pips? And maybe you held all the way to here. And maybe you added here. Of course, I just wouldn't get in. Now you go to the half-hour chart, and there's going to be twice as many trades. There's a great breakout. So maybe you want to do chop that session, that first session inside of the sessions that I cordoned off, and you just cut this session and let the blue session come up into here now. And maybe you just trade this breakout. Now, if you get a nice, you didn't get it here because they went to Chopville just before that. So the windows of entry, and so this would have created a big range here. But too many filters is going to give you over optimizations, which is going to destroy. You're not going to be able to make money when you are right. So you don't know what the next trade is going to be. You have to just keep pulling trigger and placing the orders in. So let's go to the euro dollar. Load this template. Zoom in here. So how does it work here? And maybe this session you're going to save a template that's for the euro sessions. You could, I just put it in there so you can just see the times passing by. So sell stops, buy stops, and breakout trading works really good on the euro because the spread's tight. A lot of what you see here when you see that smashing around is the fact that the spread, you're seeing the spread. If you look at this Chris Laurie, he describes what's going on here. What you're seeing here is the spread, the imbalance between bid and ask. And we just go into here on, oh shit, wait, gotta turn on the I'm missing the price grid there. So we're looking for maybe a 8 pip and a 10 pip entry, 10 pip bar. So we have sell stops, buy stops stacking up here. So okay, you got trapped there, but is this an explosive breakout or what? And you don't know what the next hour contains, and so we break down and you can probably see that, I don't know how far back you can look, but we're going to new lows, and you can expect this is going to be fast money. Be a crush down to here, and maybe you're looking to make 30 pips with a 10 pip stop. Okay, targets are hit. Maybe you got some out there, you're like, oh, the longer this goes on, the wider. You have a hotkey that you go, oh, I'm pressing this button. Pressing the button that is going to be the, and what I did was made the wider profits have slightly wider stops, and they last longer. So this is a 12-hour sell stop sitting here. The 1-hour sell stops have evaporated, and so if you don't want to babysit the session, and you just put in your sell stops, and you wake up with money in the account just because, just dumb. You're just dumb breakout trader. And I just think that this is how you make money, so you can spend money on trading books that you're going to blow your brains out on, and Gartley entries you never get filled on, or you get stopped out because you over Fibonacci'd your entries down to the, oh, there's a fib within the fib. I mean, it just kill you. Here's your so maybe you don't trade this session. You only trade breakouts here. Here was your trap breakout. This is a 20 pip lose chop. Sell stop invalid. Here's your also you could be just waiting for a higher low. So there could be two criteria. You're waiting for a small bar and a higher low where the low is higher. This is mechanical trading, and you're in here. Your buy stops never got triggered, and you're in for this. Now you could add to the position here. You just, or maybe you scalp's got to be built into this. So ideally you're out of, like, say 70% of your position or 100%. Buy stops don't really get filled too much if you get tripped on a couple. You can also have buy stops that you have a buy stop that's really tight for the scalp, and here is your stop, and here is your take profit, and you have a buy stop slightly above current price with a little wider and a bigger take profit. So you won't get triggered on all your otherwise you're not trading stop entry, you're trading, you might as well just trade at the market. And having your stop for going the other direction, trailing to go the other way. Now here, if you were to actually trade what a robot would trade and he'd see it, he'd go, oh, you told me just keep putting in buy stops and sell stops. So I call this a doji script. I published the doji script, and this is when people were saying, well, you just lose money on that. Well, look at this. If you made money here and then you maybe added to the position here on the same strategy, and look at all these pips, and this may be forming a bat wing from heaven, but well, how would that matter if you're making money this thing and then you are like, well, it could turn around any moment, so I have buy stops riding on top, and oh, maybe they trapped you here, but this is too big of a wick, too big of a bar to trigger your robot. And here there's no indication to put a buy stop, even though who wouldn't want to get on this on the long train. But see, the ATR is creased beyond the limit of that strategy, so you're not going to get in on this one. You can get in here. So you'd get in on this based on the range of that bar. Here also you're going to get in. Not the greatest trade in the world, and don't you wish you could have got in here? Now maybe you do have an exception of when this thing's coming down like this. On the half-hour chart, you see a smaller thing. Well, of course, but that's going to take. That's now you're 48. There's 48 things, and there's going to be traps in here, and you have to be willing to live with that. Maybe you do have a 20 pip or stop you launch here. Of course, they never came back to get you and stop you up, but this is quite the, and you have to have somewhat of a view that, my God, this has been going down for how long? We're going to turn around here at some point. And you could have a composite key that had a buy stop and a couple buy limits peppered out in front, and you're never going to fill, like on a down market like this. Say you had you were going to sell this thing on sell stops with sell limits above the limits, would have never filled. So maybe a buy stop here. This is kind of a big bar. They trapped you. And you got buy limits down there, but this was your continuation trade here for a few more pips again. Small bar breakout if you're going to follow it blindly, and here maybe you don't get to make the money and come up ripping back. And so you're not going to be able to take advantage of every. That's why you would have the hand place, the knowledge of the original breakout point. The scene of the crime was here, and you're going to revisit that, but that's a completely different. You wouldn't want to commingle that necessarily on here because you can't keep track. Besides, this is a lot of thinking. It takes a lot of thinking to put a sell limit up here, knowing that, well, yeah, they're probably going to fill this void here. So now you're getting into just the behavior of a market, where is blind trading like this, mechanical trading, just does so well. And here's not a lot of pips, but you have to take that trade. And here is small bar entry. Write it down. More signals, more small bars. Here's they're going to crush you out of something. And if you got in up here, you're still long, and your original stop's still holding. And if you hit the key on your keyboard, 10 different tickets with various stops and various take profits, you're riding this whole puppy down. And you have, maybe this is the only bar you have a chance to get in where you have a small range, and the rest of it, here maybe. Here is your classic continuation, buy stops, sell stops, nice trade. Here, nice trade again. Here is a reversal entry you could get in. Buy stops are triggered, buy stops are triggered. Here, here they would trounce you, but maybe that's why you have make some scalps. And your big winners aren't going to pay out. You're going to get stopped out, and you're going to ride that puppy all the way up. So you're still at the mercy of market conditions. And I'm just going to go to the next chart. Pick any currency pair. Now the guppy, going to be a problem. It's going to be, you're going to have to be, say, on the half-hour chart. You're not going to be able to trade the so the 1 hour, it's kind of tough here, but I think you see that the breakout strategy, had your targets been ungodly gigundous, it works, right? Buy stops, couple pips, these 10 pip handles. So sell stops filled, buy stops filled, sell stops filled. Buy stops never get filled, sell stops filled. Your targets weren't big enough. Your only chance to get back, maybe here's buy stops, sell stops. And you're going to have to size this appropriately for this currency pair, especially after this move. It normally isn't this bad. But given recent drama, is that an explosive move? Gee, I don't know. You be the judge. So let me go to the Australia versus, I can't do the Mexican peso because it's too outlandish. Here, New Zealand to the pound, another one that's been smashed, and the ATRs have been blown out of the water. But here, let's just go on the imagine you're a scalper on the 15-minute chart, and you're going to look for entries here. 10 pips on this. You're looking for a, don't forget this includes this here. So but pound New Zealand moves quite a bit of pips. You're going to need a 30 pip stop entry system here, but you're going to make a lot more pips. So here, 30 pip bar stop entry, 30 pip bar trap here, 30 pip bar big winner, 40 pip bar don't take it, 30 pip bar, trailing buy stops. To come back here, or trailing buy stop just on this 15 minute, this 15 minutes. A lot of seriously active trading. Go to the 1 hour, you're like, forget it. You need, and when people switch currency pairs, this is the problem. You can trade that, you can't trade that in there. New Zealand CAD. I'll take a look at the 1 hour. Is this a good? Are these good breakouts? I don't know. The spread's kind of steep here. Fake breakout here. A nice sheared ledge taken out here. And the longer it goes sideways, the fatter the orders get, and the more expansive the targets are. How did the trade work out for you? What is this compared to this? And is this a good place to put a sell stop? Sure. If you have a 12 pip threshold for this pair, a 10 and 12 pip threshold, sell. Trap trade here, they trapped you. No chance to put a sell stop. Here's a doji order, made money, no fills on the buy stops. Not the best trade in the world. Of course, what time of day are you trading, right? If you filter your trading into just looking for this inside of blue, or here's an obvious caught in a serious range, but the buy stop bots got in here early. They rode this whole thing before the smash back, and they got out on that. So I'm going to put this buy stop order in here, and I'll be running a different series of that inside of this demo that originally started as pure limits, and here it's going to be running all of my stop entries on just the euro dollar because it's super tight. I'm playing back the market right now. So in strategy tester, I'm going to speed this playback up a touch. This is the 1 hour. So what would you do right now if the market was open? Kind of just rehearsing my I think I'll speed this up. Oh geez. Yeah, there's between 31 and the other speed is quite a difference there. Okay, so I got this. So it's got a 10 pip grid on it. In this, I have no sessions. Here's Sunday night. This has been playing back for a while now. But here is, here's your entries. And for the majority of that, you're making money now. This is Sunday. And these are your windows. This is a huge breakout play coming into just the end of this is the end of the New York session. So maybe you don't want those session bars up there because it's just going to mess things up. Right now you'd be short. So what do you do now? You're short on sell stops, and when the ATR expands on this, when this really ramps up, you just can't touch anything. You let that play out. Maybe you get out here on scalps. We let this go for 3 hours down. Get out in 3 hours. Wherever it's at. It's been going down too long. People are probably going to come in and buy it up for the reversal. Here there's no trade because the ATR is too big. Maybe you're still short. Maybe you got trapped on this, but you're short on this from longer times. No trade here. You had to get out of something there. As you can see, you had to get out of something. And if you're waiting for a 10 pip bar, there is no buy stop here to go and stop and reverse. So what would keep you from over trading it? You can also sit there and wait for a 5 pip range on a 15-minute bar. You can do multiple time frames. You have one screen set up for your scalp scripts. The other ones are like, man, this thing's going to break out. We are going to go for the legitimate breakout, as it's called. Here there's no trade. So you're just maybe you're short from this breakout up here and you're like, I'm just gonna let go. But I think you got to get out of stuff. I think you got to have predefined different stops. This bar is untradeable to breakout trader. Waiting for a small bar. Waiting for a ledge. So a lot of and it should be possible to get a robot to trade this stuff. Build a robot that says, I see a 10 pip bar, but the problem is going to be that the robot's never going to is it going to have access to 10 scripts? Is it going to have a script for the 8 pip bar, the 9 pip bar? No, but if you built 10 robots and ran them simultaneously, then you're going to take care of that problem. And that's what you would really need if you were going to do an EA. You need 10 EAs that trade the same strategy with different risk to reward ratios. And you're not going to be able to make 700 pips on a breakout unless you have your target set at 700. And in a move like the British pound collapsing like that, the spread's so wide that if the market drops 700 pips and for a few milliseconds the spread is 100 pips, or your broker server is overloaded, you never got out. You never got out of that trade. You never even hit your target. It may look like it on the screen. So here's a buy stop right here you had to place. You're under 10 pips, and you just got trapped. But what if you had a sell stop in? You're trapped now there. The spread here is 3 pips on this broker. So you're not gonna you have to let that trade go. That's why you want to trade the euro dollar. Spreads trade. This is the Australian dollar. So if you don't trade, now there's no trades for you to take, so you've been trapped on both legs here. Now they've stopped you out of the long leg, and the sell leg had to make enough money to here. So there's no trade here, and you just can't touch it. There's no, these bars are too big. So what if you had placed buy stops, sell stops here? They trapped you by, if you literally have your order right at the top of that bar, they trapped you. And they trapped you certainly if you put it. Now, how far away do you put your stop? It's going to change all the money you make too. So there's no trade here. You're still short from this, and maybe the trade's over now because you put your targets in at 30 pips, so you're out. Now you're waiting for the next entry. You're waiting for the bars to give you a small range, and maybe you're thinking now, hey, I'm ready to put buy stops in, or right here, small bar, buy and sell stops again. Maybe you're adding to the position. So you don't know what's going to happen next. So if you had buy stops, you're long. And maybe you're hedging against your ones that you didn't take profits off of. Anybody can get whipsawed on a breakout strategy, obviously. It's always going to be, are you scaling in and out? Do you have at least 3 different ratios? You have a break even, double your money to triple your money. Because sometimes you will only get the break even. You put that in the formula. So here your buy stops are long. They're making money. No trades. You have to let that play out. You can see that this is previous resistance support area, and maybe you're just gonna, after 3 hours you get out. You're a scalper. I got my money. I'm good. And the nice thing about this is that you know exactly what to do every hour. There is no trade right now. You're waiting for this hour to finish. Wait for the volatility to die down. Now maybe you could get out your Gartley on the 1 minute chart and go, look at, I got a cipher that's going to be destroyed. I got a flag. I got a pennant inside of a smaller time frame. But for the people that don't want to sit there and have to worry about all of these outlandish patterns and this advanced stuff, I'm saying that it's about simplicity is the power. There's power in simplicity. You're either, you know, and having the demo account to trade now here, definitely buy stop, right? Small bar, maybe a bigger ticket, and a sell stop. Isn't this a premium setup? Now, you would have had to watch this market every hour. And I don't know if the robot's buying here. Killer, and the breakout upon the breakout. So this is the breakout before the legitimate breakout, so to speak. So maybe this trade's over for you right now. And maybe you still got some lingering tickets there. Now you could have taken all profits off the screen right now. And then what? You're like, damn, I should let it go. Well, once you get enough money in the account and you're so if I trade the euro, I would take the euro, I would trade that on this demo next week, breakout strategy on the euro. Then I would say, okay, let me add the next currency. It would probably be the dollar yen because those are typically the tightest spreads on most brokers. So I'd add the dollar yen, would trade that. And you get a signal on one, and when I say signal, like here, 10 pip, you have a sell stop here and a buy stop. And you hopefully took some profits on this 20-30 pip run. And the other one's making a big run and it's going. Now maybe you do filter down. I can't switch time frames now, but maybe you do go down to the 4-hour chart, so you're looking for it wouldn't hurt to be aware of the fact that there's breakout traders that are getting trapped on this. So your buy stops, maybe you start hitting the buy stop key every time you get a small bar in here. So maybe every time you see a small bar, you have your buy stop key. But you know you don't have to worry about buying at the market and all that nonsense. So you get picked up here. You can see they've trapped these guys. So there's a breakout within the breakout, and I saw some scalpers say, it was kind of funny, he says, well, you know, if you put fractal breakout, yeah, if you trade this breakout, you're taking a lot of risk. This 10 pip grid. Now on the sell stop side of that, you made money down into the trap here. So you realize there's a trap. You're like, okay, you know what? 20 pips was high probability trade. You're risking 10 to make 20. And once you see that where we're at here, so you see there's a trap here for the breakout. People are like, oh, it's going to keep tanking. And now that's the higher time frame breakout strategy trap. So now maybe you start putting buy stops in on the small bars, and you don't make a lot of money there. Here you would not have qualified for a 10 pip range, but if you think, and you could have hand placed orders running commingling that, but I don't think you want to commingle the strategy, because if it's not broke, don't fix it. Like, you can't take advantage of every situation with one strategy. Here is a great buy stop where you make quite a bit of money there. Here sell stops are stacking up, and this is a bigger position trade. If the orders are sitting there without filling for a very long time, if there's a sell stop sitting here that lasts 20 hours, how does it matter if the market never comes back there? Now you may not want this exposed because if you have a sell stop that's lingering from this last event, they're going to come down there and tag that sucker, and they're going to screw your brains out. So the fact that your orders can decay in 15 minutes, you have a 15-minute decay, a 30, you got a 1 hour, and that's going to be another huge issue to the efficiency of that. Now, the breakouts here, if these orders lasted too long and they're too wide, so that you're going to have to say, well, I'm waiting for 2 bars. As soon as you put one filter on there, look at this cute little so is that a legitimate breakout? Is there kind of a backlash wick there? And then when it's screaming up here, it's just maybe too big of a bar for you to get in. So you're really waiting for the triangle breakouts. Here is a continuation. So where are we at now? What would you do now? You just rolled this up. Now it's going to be, we're going to have to put in sell stops and buy stops here. So you're a little trapped there on the short side on the small bar. Maybe you're only trading it from the long side. So you don't have, like, so a symmetrical breakout trade would be different than a directional trade. And if you were going to trade this from the sell side, maybe you did actually lose money trading, God forbid. But over the whole, and maybe you're trading more than one pair. So here you are long from this breakout thing. Maybe they did trap you. But you're going to say that since you didn't take out yesterday's low and you're kind of anticipating that we're going to go after this, that and maybe you're long from here and you're just going to add buy stops. So here's your losing trades. It's so critical that you have a spectrum of stops and a spectrum of take profits that really makes sense. Look at this ratio here, and if you had gotten out of your scalps too early, which I do this all the time, I have stop entries on this type broker that I'm like, damn, I wish I had that set to, well, of course. Now that's going to take just, who doesn't want to make a bunch of money on a really big move? But you realize that this may not go on forever. It looks really good right now, but they're trapping these guys on the daily right now. Now the ATRs are too big on this 1 hour for you to get in. There's no trades for you right now. You're riding your profits, hopefully, on that breakout. So you can watch this unfold. Just go to Strategy Tester and just trade the breakout of candle wicks. So I went to this, I got this free program that is going to, I found this, there's a free program out there called Graph, and I set up an X and Y here, and I try to make this so that this is set to increments of 15 minutes. And this is time is on the, so time's going across here, and this is 4 hours. This is the 3 hour marker, the 2 hour marker, and this is the 1 hour. There is a 15-minute script out there, which is a quarter of an hour, and there is actually a 30-minute script, but there is no 45-minute script. So if you're going to buy 10 pips above current price for the breakout for 15 minutes, and so how long does that order last? And if you put a hard stop at 10 pips, say, as the market drops, then your stop is going to be ratcheting down into that, and this is your risk. You're going to put your risk, say, at 20 pips. I could make these increments 5 pips on here, but I didn't. So just to say, this would be a liberal breakout strategy where you're really looking to risk more than I was just doing on the chart. If you're going to overpay by 10 pips with a 10 pip stop below, it's a 20 pip risk. So the market is trading at the blue line all the time as this goes forward in space. And now on this stop, your profits need to be here to make, you need to make this, you're getting it at 10 and you're going to get out at 40. So you're going to make 1, 2, 3, 30 pips with a 20 pip stop. Not the best thing in the world. This is where you might want to set this scale to 5 pips and build your script based on that. And the 4-hour script is sitting out here with, say, a 20 pip stop. So as the time goes on, maybe the stops to enter increase, and by the time you get to 6 hours, you got stops up here for the legitimate breakout, but then you're risking this much now. So if you can imagine your hard stops, let me see if we just blow this up a bit. And of course, this is time marching along the bottom here. When do you pull the trigger on these trades? So if you drop a buy stop in the London session for a breakout to, say, go south, I'm just using this grid as the price grid, and it's going to go like that. You have to picture what that's going to look like when you drop it, and maybe you can just trade little tiny breakouts on Asia. If I go into here, and I've almost figured this out, this is going to be my price grid. So if my maximum pips I'm going to make is 100 pips, and I'm going to make my minimum is going to be a 20 pip stop, and I'm going to trade on 5 pip increments with a 5 pip grid, it's going to look like this. And let me just adjust this so it lands in the screen better. I'm going to put this at 40 pips so that it just, I don't have my screen cropped properly. So this is what I was looking for, is the so this is helps a lot, and this is time before, this is the countdown to, say, the opening of the session to run this breakout strategy. This is before, and then so right here is you drop the script, and it's going to have a buy stop 5 pips above, and it's going to last 15 minutes. This is your first risk window, and maybe you've got a 10 pip stop on that. So you're actually risking 15. Let's forget about the spread for now. Let's assume you've got a tight. You can add that in later as into your losses, just like getting stopped out. So you get filled here, your stops here. You're in at 5 on the stop. You buy the ask, and you need to get to, if you buy at 5, you need to get to, say, to 25 to make 20 pips with a 10 pip stop. Here's your risk. Here's your reward. So your reward's here, your risk is here. And now maybe this order does not fill because the market just keeps trading sideways. And the 1 hour orders with the same hard stop. So if you hard stop entry and your buy stop sitting out here, but your 4 hour order is going to have a risk of, say, instead of 10 pips, you're going to put a risk in at 20 pips, and you're looking to make 90 pips. Well, because this is the legitimate breakout, let's say. And so if you keep a hard stop on this, you'll be able to keep track of, okay, well, when I see a bar of X, and say there is you allow for a 15 pip bar, you can say, well, I can put a longer term trade in here, and 4 hours may be the maximum window. So you're exposing yourself to a 4 hour window of breakout, and you don't want a 6 hour buy stop maybe. And maybe you want to put all your orders in here. There's so many maybes. Maybe you only trade in a 2 hour breakout session. So you don't put any 4 hour stops in, but you have to maybe hit the button more to get in the right position size for the real legitimate breakout, so to speak. And maybe you have a 5 pip stop, a 6, 7, 8 pip stop. So it really is a matter of different stops for each key, different take profits for each key, all the way to the 60. So you don't need to, you can see as time marches along, and here is the bars marching into time. So you can paint the market here. Here's you're caught in a range. For an hour you're caught in this range. The next 2 hours you're still caught in this range, give or take. And then 3 hours later, the range even got smaller on the 1 hour. For this 1 hour span, you have a smaller range. Well, it's, you know, it's stacking up. And maybe you have a symmetrical trade plan. You would just invert this X and Y and do the sell stop, the sell versions of this. This is just buy only stop here primarily. But imagine if I put dead center, this X and Y here is dead center here. And the same could be said for if your build limit strategies where you have limit orders peppered up here, and say they're set up in there in a curve so that you sell, but as it gets into the 100 pip range, you're selling really heavy up here, more sell orders up there. I don't know how actually to get things to come in on here yet, but I'm just using this to design the hotkeys with. So I can get to, I can take advantage of stuff I see on the screen. And sure, on the guppy, it's going to be, I got a 30 pip stop. I'm looking to make 150 pips, which happens. You would change this whole scale. And so if I come in here and I say, look, I'm going to put this and save this as, so file save as, and I can put in, and I'm just going to say something like, I would say maybe this is euro, right? So the euro dollar, whatever have you. A euro H2. It gets complicated now. That's my or you print this out. I'd say print this out also. Take it with you next time you're driving in traffic. Instead of texting, whip this out and start doing trade plans on it. But I know that's a long-winded rant, and once again I had to debunk, like hopefully debunk the conventional wisdom at the beginning. And you know, I don't really have a script here, although I did have the forethought to whip this crap up here. But I'm not selling anything, so therefore I don't need to perform, right? And I'm not gonna. But I would say, what I'm really looking for is, instead of people say, oh, do you have a course? You know, hey, do you have a thing? And I know people love to pay for stuff because there's no fun in like going back to the sex thing. Could they say there's more words for money and sex than anything? But when you're paying for something, no, like we've all been raised with this. There's no such thing as a free lunch. There's nothing for free out there. So a lot of people discount stuff because, well, who are you? Like, what are you? Well, I'm just saying that who's anybody? And are you more legitimate because you're a member of the Technical Analysis Society, or if you're just some guy on the street? Now, if you'll find wisdom in people that are just, I mean, the simplest, poorest people in the world. I mean, this is the whole, I don't know if you saw the movie Being There with Peter Sellers, but the whole premise of that movie was that a simple person seems to be profound when somebody says, well, what he's saying is just so powerful because it's so simple. And the simple and the popular stuff is discounted. I play in this jazz band, and every time I play with these guys, I play with them tonight, is that I go in there with the mindset of thinking to myself, do I really want to, I mean, jazz music is very complex, but at the core, they're only playing 2 fucking chords. Right? So they're putting all that complexity on top of a simple structure. 2 chords, I'm telling you. I mean, you can go nuts on 2 chords, right? Well, you have the liberty to go nuts because you don't have a complex key change. Well, you'd have, in some jazz you do, but some of the some of the jazz where there is no real key. It's the key of chromania. Every note, any note's good, any note's valid. Popular music, mainstream music, is great too. And it's popular doesn't mean that it's no good. Now, when I play with a band, the guitarist that I play with is probably knows every cliche, every guitar lick on the planet. And so when I hear him reciting and going through the list of, there's only so many words, right, to describe something and to convey your thought across. But I'm not really, I'm not, you know, when I criticize somebody's video, they call you a troll or whatever, but it's just the catchphrase for the latest meme for somebody that's that wants to make a comment. And but this I want to give I want to post these scripts out here. What I instead of people paying me money, like, hey, would you show me how to trade? Like, listen, I want you to show me how to trade. Like, I want you to take a demo, put a script in there, and run it. Now I got a friend of mine, the drummer for my band. Maybe I can get him to do this stuff. But you really have to, I guess, you have to have the energy and the desire to open a demo and run a script in there. And without this, the guy with 3 reasons not to trade breakouts, people are like, well, that's just, you know, and you're going to take a lot of criticism, or internal criticism from yourself, like this, what am I doing this for? And so the self-talk that's going to say, well, don't try that. Well, and why would you spend the energy to test out in real time, forward test or test next week a breakout strategy? Well, why would you do anything? So it's not a perfect, there is no perfect trading strategy that works across all market conditions. I have a problem waiting for my limits to get filled. What do you do in the meantime? Waiting for your outlandish completion of wave Z95. I think there has to be something you can do in the meantime, and that's just a good popular trading. So popular music, I could listen to popular music, and I also listen to jazz. I can't say that if you go on stage and people are expecting to hear pop music and you start playing jazz, you're going to have a problem. Unless you couch it in a popular mode. So when I play with the band, I'm thinking to myself, man, how can I do both? Trade cliches, but then frame them in a jazz mode, or play take a popular song and play it in a jazz style. Take a jazz song and play it in a pop style. And it's totally doable to trade super simple and just kind of make money. And that's really what I'm trying to do, is get people to trade demos. So instead of, you know, buying some, because nobody's going to trade like anybody else, but nobody's going to drive a car like anybody else. Everybody drives their car differently, but there's 2 kinds of cars. There's a sports car and there's an off-road car. And so that's the 2 different things. So if people would just trade the demo and say, okay, they're going to publish their to FX book and say, I'm trading a breakout strategy here. And I'm trading an MT4 and I built scripts and this is what it's doing. And then they can be their own, then they can get their own subscribers and do all that if they want. And they can just be like, okay, you can copy trades or get a PAM account, or you can just do all that stuff. The missing link I see is that, just like this band that I play with, we always sit down and say, wouldn't it be great if, and we have these great plans, wouldn't it be great if we could do this show or do this thing. And the thing is, people say stuff, talks cheap, and nobody typically wants to pick up the axe and have to make real cuts and make decisions. But that's okay. So if you have money and you don't need to trade to make a living, and trading for a living, there's a book called Trading for a Living. I mean, think how scary that is. Trading for a living. You mean I'm just going to make a money for trading? Well, of course, let's hope that you've got some money to start. You're going to need money to start your trading business. Just like if you're going to open a coffee shop, you need to get your 5,000. You need to get to loans, and you need a window of 6 months to get off the ground. You need money to burn. But you don't have to do that in Forex. You can open a demo, and you can just sit there and trade a strategy. You trade one element in here. You change one element of your entry range, and you'll see your results change. So tomorrow night is the I'll be running the euro on this. So I'll be kind of. The thing is that it's broker dependent. For breakout trading strategies, well, anything is broker dependent, because if you bought at the market, you're paying a shitty spread or commission. So if you trade a strict discipline breakout strategy, then the order has to fit that broker. If their spreads are continually expanding, you're going to get trapped on the ask there, and the bid and the ask there. You get trapped, so you have to work around that, and it's going to perform differently on different brokers. But the concept, there's a difference between the concept and the actual real world results. So they say what results may vary. But I wouldn't give up on that breakout trading, Sean. I wouldn't give out on that breakout trading, because to some guy that has all these accolades and all these, he's a member of the Fraternal Order of Trading. I can't go there. I mean, if that was the case, I'd be like, okay, we'll just find somebody, let him manage my money. But I'm going to put this buy stop in here in the comment, and just flip it to sell stop and invert the bid and ask, and of course invert the numbers. But I'll put a link to this graph program. It's called Graph. Here, about Graph. So here, Ivan, hopefully not the terrible. Here, graphed. It's from the country of Denmark? What is DK? So I'll put this in the link here, and that you can get carried away in this thing. I don't have the math skills to even get this puppy to run like this. But I don't know how, this is not the download link, is it? Here it is, download. And it can run on a Mac too. Look at that. Graph on a Mac. So Graph is really great for writing scripts. You can print this out. If you're a scalper, you're probably going to be looking at a very narrow range there on your entries. This scale might be set to every 1 pip, and you've got that, and you're on a 5-minute chart. Or, like I say, you could buy at the market. You could set this to have limits that are 5 pips deep with a 15 stop. If you're trend trading and you really think it's going up, then maybe you have a couple buy stops, a couple buy limits, and you buy at the market, and you split your tickets like that. And if you look back on the chart, you're like, yeah, it's pulled back enough. I'm going to buy one at the market, buy one at a stop, buy one on a limit with a stop here. And given the right ATRs, you get picked up on that trade, and sure, the market's going to do all this crap, but you're like, I'm going to put in the, say, and I'm going to do that on a limit. I'll do it on the, if you had a strict trend buy limit strategy, imagine, where it just gets picked up on pullbacks limits that last a certain amount of time with a stop, and you just keep on trading with the trend. You're not in yet. You know it's up. You put a capture grid in, not a retrace grid, but a trend limit, just a little bit below. So I said there's three. To me, there's three styles there. You're either getting at the market with a stop above, a couple limits below, and you're like, okay, we're looking for this 20 pip, and we're going up. That's all there's to it. And the other one is that you're going to trade retracements off the top and the bottoms, where you put in sell limits way the hell up here, up in Disneyland like this, and you're going to trade it on the way back off of that retracement, or you're going to get in like I'm doing here with just tight range breakouts. So there's a blend, and I can't think of any other trades. This is your Gartley. You have limits up here to come in back all the way back, and sometimes the market comes all the way back and takes out the low of the day. And maybe you're waiting for that one juicy trade. Now that's more rare than breakouts. He said these breakouts are rare big moves. No, that continually happens. You have an expansion from a ratio of this to this. That happens all the time. But it is time for independent. Wouldn't want to trade breakouts on the 1 minute chart, because the spread is so big, they're going to chop you to pieces. Anyways, so let me put this up on the interwebs, and I'm just going to put in that buy stop, and I'm going to set, it's set right now at +3. When it says +30, it means +3 pips on that. And to install that, I don't have like a going video to install. So I'll just show you here real quick the install process. Whenever I put a comment in, you're going to hit F4, go to language editor, open this up, take the code that, if you don't have a script already, you're going to go to new, and you're going to go to script, you're going to name it. When the code comes up, you delete all the code in there, paste my code in, hit compile, boom, you're done.